Hey y'all, it's Kim again. I'm having trouble with my computer for some reason, but I just wanted to share a little bit of this with Elon Musk and the Doge team, giving the behind the scenes look at their mission. I don't want to play the whole thing, so I'll probably get dinged with the copyright or something. And then I have to appeal it because I'm just doing the reaction and just sharing it with my own people, whoever out there may be watching this. But I mean, it is kind of weird the stuff that they're finding. But let me play. Oh, darn. Hold on. Let me go in here. I have a bunch of stuff on my like emails here of Instagram memes and stuff like that. So hold on. Let me see if I can pull a couple of these up before I play this. Like I said, I don't want to play the whole thing because I probably get dinged. But let's see here. So this is Wesley Hunt talking about the Democrat Party approval rating. It's in the toilets. Let me see. Where's the volume?
68%. And look at the approved number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh my goodness gracious, you just can't get worse.
And then let's look. It says right here Elon has lost billions in personal wealth. Maybe he's not chasing power or fame, but truly sacrificing for America. And then let me go. I wish it would give me like the preview of some of these. Um, let's see. This guy says April Fool's Day is canceled this year because there's no bigger joke than the Democrat Party that's now setting electric cars on fire. All because Elon Musk has chosen to help find waste, fraud, and abuse. So let's go back over here to this. Let me open this up. Like I said, we'll just watch a few minutes of it. For whatever reason, my computer's messed up today.
Doing this, I know there's a lot of interest in this. First, let me start with you, Elon. What are the budgetary savings goals, and how much do you think you've achieved so far?
Our goal is to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion. From a nominal deficit of $2 trillion to try to cut the deficit in half to $1 trillion, or looked at it in total federal spending to drop the federal spending from $7 trillion to $6 trillion. We want to reduce the spending by eliminating waste and fraud, reduce the spending by 15%, which seems really quite achievable. The government is not efficient, and there's a lot of waste and fraud. So we feel confident that a 15% reduction can be done without affecting any of the critical government services.
I want to talk to all the guys.
Making it better.
And talk to all the guys here about the specifics. But for you, what's the most astonishing thing you found out in this process?
The sheer amount of waste and fraud in the government. It is astonishing. It's mind-blowing. We routinely encounter wastes of $1 billion or more, casually. For example, like the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost you about $10,000. The government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey. Do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing. It was like insane.
You technically are a special government employee, and you're supposed to be 130 days. Are you going to continue past that, or do you think that's what you're going to do? Or?
Well, I think we will have accomplished most of the work required to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion within that time frame.
So in that time frame, 130 days. And the process is a report at some point, at 100 days?
Not really a report. We are cutting the waste and fraud in real time. So every day that passes, our goal is to reduce the waste and fraud by $4 billion a day, every day, 7 days a week. And so far, we are succeeding.
and I'm going to talk to the specifics, but there obviously are Doge critics who are reading all kinds of stuff. Obviously, lawmakers on the other side of the aisle are attacking you, and they characterize the approach as this: fire, ready, and then aim. And how do you approach that? How do you respond to that?
Well, I do agree that we actually want to be careful in the cuts. So we want to measure twice, if not thrice, and cut once. And actually, that is our approach. They may characterize it as shooting from the hip, but it is anything but that. Which is not to say that we don't make mistakes. If we were to approach this with the standard of making no mistakes at all, that would be like saying someone in baseball's got to bat 1,000. That's impossible. So when we do make mistakes, we correct them quickly, and we move on.
Some people say this shouldn't take a rocket scientist. Steve Davis, you are a rocket scientist.
It used to be.
Yeah, I know. And now essentially you're the chief operating officer of Doge, day-to-day operations. Fair to say?
Yeah, part of the Doge team.
So how did you end up here? What's the biggest challenge you see?
The reason I'm here, which is probably for many, is that I think the goal is incredibly inspiring. I think most of the taxpayers in the country would agree that in order to have the country going bankrupt would be a very bad thing, and therefore the country going not bankrupt is a good thing. That all of us are willing to kind of put our lives on hold in order to do. I think the thing that's special right now is we actually believe there's a chance to succeed. That there's an administration that's supportive and a great cabinet and just a great group that will actually make success a possible outcome. And I think that's, given the inspiring mission and given the non-zero chance of success, it was worth doing. I just like to sort of re-emphasize that point. The success of Doge is only possible with President Trump and with the outstanding cabinet that he selected. It would be impossible without the support of the president and the cabinet.
But you're finding the money. I mean, it's big numbers, right?
Yeah, like Elon said, the minimum impulse bid is often $1 billion. So, for example, the $830 million, which was the online survey, that's an enormous amount of money that wouldn't have been found if the Doge team wasn't working with it, in that case, the Department of Interior. But then taking it one step further, Doge then publishes these things on our website for map.
So let's see what, I know I'm cutting into this, but I mean, let's at least look at the website and see what they've got going on here. Let's see if it shows Department of Government Efficiency. And then I guess you can follow this on X. Contract update. Agencies terminated 80 wasteful contracts today with a ceiling value of $203.6 million and savings of $139.1 million, including a $2.1 million State Department management consulting contract for a senior advisor in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Okay, what are we doing with that? It says updates. The $13 million in taxpayer dollars referenced below has been returned to the Treasury. It says each year the United States Institute of Peace received $55 million in congressional taxpayer funds. Prior management would sweep excess funds into its private endowment. Zero congressional oversight in the past years. USIP has transferred $13 million to its private, I guess, account. And then let's see what the savings are. Okay, so the estimated savings is $140 billion, and then amount that's saved per taxpayer is $869.57. And then it says per taxpayer amount is calculated using an estimate of 161 million individual federal taxpayers. It says we're working to upload all our receipts in a digestible and transparent manner consistent with applicable rules and regulations to get started. Listed below are a subject of contract, grants, and lease cancellations representing a 30%, probably plus or minus, of total savings. The contracts listed below have been posted publicly on fpds.gov. FPDS postings of the contract termination notices can have up to a 1 month lag. There may be discrepancies between FPDS USA spending and the posted numbers, the latter of which originate directly from agency contracting and grant officials. Ooh, wow. It says Agency Efficiency Leaderboard, HHS, Department of Education, General Service Administration, Small Business Administration, Office of Personnel Management, HUD, uh, Department of Labor, Environmental Protection Agency, Department of Agriculture, Department of the Interior. And then here's the wall of receipts. Oh, wow. Department of the Interior, Family Endeavors. This is Office of Refugee Resettlement. And then whatever these numbers. Look at these numbers, though, y'all. Sentinel Technologies Enterprise Program. This is Department of Treasury. Department of Health and Human Services. Office of Personnel Management. Canceled solicitation. The contractor shall enable OPM staff. Oh, Office of Personnel Management. Housing and Urban Development. It says unavailable for legal reasons. Okay, so these are all probably pending lawsuits of stuff. People are mad. Look at this, 728 pages worth of stuff and counting. Here's the savings. More savings. These are grants. What are these? Contracts. Let's see. Look at these numbers. Big, humongous numbers. $1 trillion. USAID. Gavi Foundation. What is all this? What is all of this? This has 929 pages of stuff. And here's leases. Look at this. Internal Revenue Service, Bureau of Reclamation, termination via mass something mod. Okay, look at all these. Termination. Look at all these. National Park Service, Office of the Secretary, National Park Service, Forest Service, Office of the Secretary. How many pages of this stuff does it have? Oh, 68. These are just leases on buildings, like real estate that the company owns. Or not the company, but the government owns. Ah,
Maximum transparency. So now the general public, it would have been impossible for the general public to have seen that. Now anyone can just log into Doge.gov anytime and see these payments as they're not yet in real time, they're close, but they'll
oh man.
probably be in real time within the next few weeks. But the process, it still involves Congress, right? At some level.
We're trying to keep Congress as informed as possible, but the law does say that money needs to be spent correctly. It should not be spent fraudulently or wastefully. It's not contrary to Congress to avoid waste and fraud. It is consistent with the law and consistent with Congress. And we've seen actually great support, at least from the Republican side of the House, and occasionally some Democrats too. It's nice to see people cross the aisle once in a while. But usually when they attack Doge, they never attack any of the specifics. So they'll say what we're doing is somehow unconstitutional or legal or whatever. We're like, well, which line of the cost savings do you disagree with?
Exactly.
And they can't point to any. And we list them all on Doge.gov and the Doge handle on X. And you'll see just outrageous things, one outrageous thing after another.
Joe Gabbion, besides Elon, you're one of several billionaires here, co-founder of Airbnb, and you wanted to help out.
I bumped into Anthony and Elon probably back in February, and they told me something about a mine that dealt with retirement, and they said they needed somebody to help out to fix retirement in the government. I love the challenge, so I jumped on board, and it turns out there is actually a mine in Pennsylvania that houses every paper document for the retirement process in the government. Now, picture this. this giant cave has 22,000 filing cabinets,
Oh no.
stacked 10 high to house 400 million pieces of paper. It's a process that started in the 1950s and largely hasn't changed in the last 70 years. And so as you dug into it, we found retirement cases that had so much paper, they had to fit it on a shipping pallet. So the process takes many months, and we're going to make it just many days.
Will it be digitized or how?
Absolutely. So this will be an online digital process that will take just a few days at most. And I really think, it's an injustice to civil servants who are subjected to these processes that are older than the age of half the people watching your show tonight. So we really believe that the government can have an Apple Store-like experience, beautifully designed, great user experience, modern systems.
Because right now it's by hand.
Yes, the retirement process is all by paper, literally with people carrying paper in manila envelopes into this gigantic mine.
So they can't retire more than a certain number every month.
Yes,
about 8,000 a month.
That's how the reason we discovered it was we were saying like, well, let's encourage voluntary retirement. And so, well, most they could do is 8,000 a month, and even under normal circumstances, it can take 6 to 9 months just to have your retirement paperwork processed, and they often get the calculations wrong. So, like, well, why would it take so long to retire? And they're like, well, because of the mine. They're like, what do you mean a mine? What's a mine got to do with retiring? And that's where we discovered that all the retirement stuff is still done by paper in a process that looks identical to what occurred in the 1950s. Like, we took a snapshot of the mine when it first started in the 50s to today, it looks the same.
It's amazing. So how long do you think it would take to turn over?
We're working as fast as we can. Probably next couple of months we'll have this overhauled. And, I really think, again, like, why are we subjecting our federal workers to processes that they actually have to go through a training just to retire from the government? There's a whole training program that people have to go through in order to retire. I think we can do better for them.
Baram Mogadassi, Doge engineer. You go into these places, one of the more than a dozen engineers, first people to go into the agencies and view the computer data sets. Tell me what you're finding, and for people who don't understand how that process works, explain it for them.
Yeah. I'll say the first thing that got me really excited about Doge was learning basically the state of government computers. By some estimates, government IT costs about $100 billion, and it's funding systems that are over 50 years old, in the case of something like Social Security or the IRS. So really critical systems are old. They cost a lot of money to maintain, and they can be the efforts to improve them are often very delayed. So
I'm going to stop it here because I'm probably going to get a stupid copyright ding because Fox or whatever. But I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. Not only are they finding the fraud, waste, and abuse, they're showing where they have inefficiencies in the retirement process for the government workers. And the computer systems themselves, that's something else they bring up later on, is that the computer systems don't speak to each other. So you may have somebody that's passed away. Social Security doesn't know that, but the IRS does. And so they're still sending funds over to somebody else. I mean, you'll just have to watch the full interview with these guys. But I mean, it's pretty ridiculous when you look at all of this stuff and how much all of this costs to have an inefficient government. And that's why I don't understand why people are so mad at Elon Musk. But anyway, I mean, I'll make some more videos. I've got a bunch of stuff to share. I've had so much trouble with my computer. Yesterday, it shut down on me in the middle of it. Or actually, I was close to the end and I was kind of finishing up. And then today, it's like, oh, you got no space. So I had to go in and delete a bunch of stuff in a folder. So anyway, I'll try to get some more stuff about Elon, but I will talk to y'all in a little bit. See y'all later. Like, share, and subscribe. Bye.